Hey everybody, this is just a quick tutorial I made on this new spreadsheet that I made. It's a roommate financial balancer. Basically, it splits up and balances the finances that everyone is expected to pay out of you and your roommates. It supports between 1 and 4 total roommates. So if it's just, or if you're also just looking to keep track of your finances, how much you're spending, you can drop it down to support just one person. Yeah, so anyway, let's get into this. It's fairly simple to use. You might need to familiarize yourself a little bit with Microsoft Excel, but luckily not too much. Just as an example, let's go ahead and check out month 1. It is on a yearly basis, so it has 12 months total. It can be reused with no problem. Anyway, so what we're going to do, let's say rent for month 1 is $1,000. That's 1,000. Internet, we'll call that 100. Electricity, 120. And prorated rent, we'll just say, I don't know, 100 for that as well. So you can see here, it takes all of these utilities, rent fees. Let's say you and your roommate got in trouble for throwing a party, and that's a $50 fine. There's that. You can also put in parking permits if you guys pay that on the same account or whatever. Anyway, as you can see right now, it says down here the total, it's got a total of 1,370. That's just a total of everything above it. So everything from this column, you can go ahead and add more rows here, or enter more stuff into the rows here. And then over here, it says per person. And since it's only one person, each person will be paying 1,000, 100, 120, 150, totaling the exact same, which is the 1,370, because it's just split with one person. However, if we do take it and we split it into 2 people, you can see now both of these cells are highlighted red, meaning they do not owe or have paid excess, and each person is expected to pay $685 per month, and that is between roommate 1 and 2. You can see if we go ahead and type in here, let's say roommate 1 is the one that pays rent, so they did the 1,000 out of their own account, and then for the prorated rent they did the full 100. And let's say roommate 2 then handles the utilities, so they paid for internet, that's 100, and then they did 120 for electricity, and let's just say that they also took care of the $50 fine. So you can see down here, the total actually has been paid. You can just kind of cross compare, the 50 is taken care of, 100 is taken care of, 120 is taken care of, 100 and 1,000 is taken care of. But you can see down here, the total that roommate 2 has paid is very different than what roommate 1 has paid. So you can see they actually are just inverse of each other. This means that roommate 2 is $415, or they owe $415 total for it to be balanced. Roommate 1 has paid $415 excess. That's what the negative means. You want these numbers to approach 0, but never go beyond it. I mean, it can go beyond it, it's just then you need to balance it separately, and that's where these cells come into play. So roommate 1, so these are fees that you would pay to other roommates. So this one, since we only have 2 roommates, this is rather easy actually. Roommate 2 just pays $415 to roommate 1. And roommate 1, actually, they would go into their column, and it says they have their own roommate 2 column, and they would put in that they got, or that they paid negative 415 to roommate 2, which means that they received 415 from roommate 2. And now down here, each person has paid 685, and the totals left are 0. So the differences are 0. Everybody gets paid their part for the month. Let's go ahead and go to month 2. We'll keep the same values. Actually, no, we don't need to go to month 2 for this. We can just stay here. Let's go ahead and assume that there's 3 roommates now. You can see now we've got an issue because both of these roommates have paid extra. Roommate 3 has paid, or they still need to pay $456.67. So let's go ahead and clear these out, actually. So right now, everybody is paid 0. Everybody owes 456.67, as you can see right there. So let's go ahead and assume roommate 1 still pays pays the entirety of rent. And then let's say, and you can actually do partial payments here too. So you can say if internet is 100, roommate 2 and roommate 3 can both split it, and they can both split electricity as well. And actually, yeah, I guess we can do 30 and 90 will give us the 120 needed. The 50 and 50 gets us to 100. And let's say they both do the fee there. So roommate 3 has paid a little bit more because they did 90 as opposed to 30 for electricity. Everything else is the same between them and roommate 2. But you can still see that they both owe a little bit while roommate 1 has paid in excess again. So really all you need to do is go to roommate 2 will pay roommate 1 $351.67. Roommate 3 will pay roommate 1 $291.67. And from roommate 2, roommate 1 will receive, so minus $351.67. And from roommate 3, they will receive, so that was $291.67. And when it's splitting into thirds, it does tend to have an issue where it will be a little bit off. And if it's 1 cent, obviously that's up to user discretion. That's not so much of an issue there. But basically, rent will have been paid in full. Somebody just needs to chip in 1 extra penny. And really, it's the exact same when you go to 4 roommates. Now, it's just everything's off again because roommate 4 would need to balance it the way we did it with roommate 3. Yeah, it's pretty simple to use. It's got obviously some basic Excel features. Let's say for internet, you also, so you had like a $100 monthly fee, but you also had, say, a $30 activation fee. You would select a cell, add an equal sign to the beginning to tell that it's a formula, and we're going to do 100 plus 30. And you could do that manually, just type in 130, but it's a bit easier personally if I go in and I just add in a plus 30. It kind of shows that there are 2 separate payments or fees due or whatever. So that's now 120, and let's just say that roommate 2 takes care of that. So roommate 2 will do plus 30, and I got to do equals. And then, yeah, now they've paid excess. So, I mean, what we could do, yeah, we could just go roommate 2. They pay $10 to roommate 2. They do, I believe this would be plus 10. So let's go ahead and add, yeah, so equals negative 351 plus 10. And then, yeah, so from roommate 1, they received, or they paid them that much, and then minus, they got this much back. So they got 10 back from roommate 1, and then, yeah, 10 from roommate, actually that's roommate 3. And again, it's all balanced. So it does get a bit tricky when you're balancing it like that. So it's a bit easier if you just handle that at the end of the month. You take what everybody's paid, and then you just kind of balance it over like we did at the beginning, where everybody just paid to roommate 1 who had paid in excess at the beginning of the month, or whenever these fees are due. Beyond that, it's fairly simple. You just really do some basic math, get it across, and then, yeah, it's pretty simple to use, as you can hopefully see. This spreadsheet will be available on my website to download. Link will be down in the description below for those coming from YouTube. And the link to this tutorial will obviously be available or somewhere on my website near the link to download this spreadsheet as well. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any other features. Yeah, it's got the full 12 months if we zoom out here. They're all independent of each other. All of them work just fine on their own. You can modify them each separately, so you can add stuff to month 6. It won't be there in month 7, all that. You can obviously change rent amounts and all that. Everything, it's very simple to use, just month by month, kind of just go through. The one thing it doesn't support is changing the number of roommates for each month. So let's say you add someone in month 3, that would not be supported. However, all you have to do is change this. Let's say you go from 3 to 4. Now they will all be calculated on a 4 roommate basis. Past months will show up as incorrect because roommate 4 did not pay anything in the previous months. But honestly, that doesn't, as long as it's balanced prior to that, that's not a problem. And then from there on out, roommate 4 will be accounted for. So yeah, this, like I said, will be available on my website. Link down in the description below. Hope you guys find it useful.